Welcome back, man. But we haven't talked to you in a while. But can you just talk about the last 5 months as far as your rehab? What has that been like? And also just emotionally, this last 5 months been like since the injury?
Right. Thank you. Glad to be back. But I've been working, man. My mind has been focused on getting my knee healthy and coming back stronger than I've ever been. It was challenging missing, the majority of the football season, and really just focusing on my knee and focusing on my family. So, I kind of just shifted my mind away from football and focusing on my health and my family.
Amy Just.
Yeah, welcome back. How are you feeling right now? How's the knee? You on track with the timelines that you and your medical team have set?
What's up, Amy? I feel great. I'm ahead of schedule, to be exact. I'm gonna be back well before training camp. So right now is just focusing, locking in, and that's the key. Like that's the part of this whole journey with recovering from an injury, is doing everything you possibly can do to make sure that you're ready, and focusing on how you can get better and improve on certain things that you want to improve on while rehabbing the knee.
Jeff Duncan.
Hey, Jameis, considering the injury you had at that time of your career, I mean, what does this second significant contract mean to you, your family, emotionally, spiritually? Because obviously, I'm sure that was a potentially career-ending injury, or at least altering injury. What does it mean to you now to be back in the faith that the organization showed in you?
Yeah, what's up, Jeff? Man, yeah, definitely. I'm happy that I'm thankful for Miss Benson and Mickey and Kai for giving me this opportunity to lead this organization again, and I'm forever grateful for them. So, but career-ending injury, that never crossed my mind. And people try to say, oh, this is 80. I'm 28 years old. I'm still young. I'm still healthy, and I'm just ready to go. So just to show respect to them and for y'all and for that city of New Orleans, I'm doing everything I can to come back better and healthy.
If I could follow up real quick, did you have some thoughts, though, at least when you had that injury, of the timing of it, that you were coming up on an open contract? And, I just would assume it'd be human nature to think about that, because it was such a bad injury.
Man, the timing of it was, what I thought about instantly was like, man, I didn't finish the season with my teammates, right? Like throughout this whole training camp, throughout this whole time that I've been here with New Orleans, like when the opportunity presented itself for me to be this team's quarterback, I wasn't able to finish. So I focused on that, for a good 3 weeks, because I wanted to be there for them, for the guys. I wanted to lead this team to the playoffs, to a Super Bowl. Thankful that Miss B and Mickey and Kai gave me that opportunity again to do that, and that's what my focus on. That's what my focus is on now. But obviously, that starts with me focusing on my health. So I'm excited, man. Jeff, you've been around me. I'm a very optimistic dude. Everything happens for a reason in my book, and there's no coincidences. It's nothing ironic. It's all a part of God's plan for me, and I embrace that. I take that in fully, because I try to stay ready.
Nick Underhill.
Jameis, I know you had some other options in free agency. Why was this the destination that you were kind of targeting and wanted to stay here despite, Sean leaving and some different things? Why was this still kind of the spot you wanted to be at?
Well, what's up, Nick? I think it's just the continuity. And I know at this position, the quarterback position, that is so important into our success, being able to be in the same offense, being able to play with the same teammates. But this year, I'm going to have Mike Thomas. So that's even better, right? So my position from last year to this year offensively is even better, because now I get one of the best receivers to play this game back. So that was exciting. Obviously, I wish we could have got Teron back, but I'm excited for him I'm excited to see James Hurst get the recognition that he deserves at playing, but obviously losing to Ron, made me think about like, man, how can we get him back? I wish I could have just brought. I wish we could have did a dual contract together, but that's just not the case. He's valued, and what his worth is beyond what we were able to do. So I'm happy for him. But I just love this team, man. I love this city. I wanted to be here. This is my desired location, and like I said, the continuity that's very important.
Did you worry about maybe having the chance to come back when they were kind of looking at Deshaun and some of those other things?
No, I was focused on my rehab. My main focus is how can we get to run back? How can we get the bunch back? You know what I'm saying? Like I was more focused on my teammates than stuff that I can't control.
Evan Terrell.
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. How's it going, Jameis?
Hey.
It's following up on Nick a little bit. I kind of always wonder what goes through a player's mind during free agency, and when there are all these reports out that the Saints were heavily interested in pursuing Deshaun. Like, I guess, how did you take that? Do you kind of take it as, I'm going to work harder, or just I guess what's your mindset when you hear that?
Well, initially I was just like, well, that's none of my business. I have to focus on my knee, and luckily that's exactly what I was doing. I was focusing on my rehab because if my knee isn't healthy or where it needs to be, I'm not able to do what I want to do, and that's playing football. So that was my biggest thing. Bottom line, this is a business. I'm happy it turned out the way that it turned out, and like I say, like the stuff that I can control, I can speak on, but the stuff I can't control, I don't worry about it because there's nothing I literally can do.
Jeff Nowak.
Hey, Jameis, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
So, obviously head coach change. Have you gotten a chance to talk to Dennis about kind of his vision for, how things are going to look under the new head coaching regime? And, what are some of the differences when you go from an offensive head coach like Sean to a defensive head coach like DA?
Well, when you lose Sean Payton, one of the best play callers to ever coach this game, like that's just that is probably the biggest thing that I, had to really sit with this offseason. Because I came to the Saints for Sean and Drew, and neither one of those people are here, So definitely knowing that DA has been being a part of this organization for a long time, I know that he has what it takes to be a successful head coach in this league. And typically, we're tied together. So I got faith in DA. I know how he works. I know that every single week. I know that defense is going to be prepared. So I'm excited to, be his quarterback and help him with, the overall picture with making sure that the offense is doing what we need to do, and knowing that the defense is doing what they need to do, and even special teams. Like now he has 3 different aspects as a head coach opposed to just one aspect. And I think that he's earned every right to get back in that position to show that he's a great head coach. But just on the Sean end, like, man, I'm gonna miss Sean. But again, I'm excited that Pete Carmichael and Ronald Curry, they're still there. So I still have some of that continuity there. The people that I was in the meetings with, the people that that I got a chance to prepare with. Obviously I would love to have a better relationship with Sean and have my career with Sean. But again, like everything happens for a reason, and I'm excited. I'm excited for Pete, to have the reins. I'm excited to be working with RC, so we can get this offense booming.
Fletcher Mackel.
Hey, Jameis, if I could just maybe follow up. I know we've already had some questions. As far as the process in free agency, was there an open line of communication between you and the Saints did they tell you they were going to pursue Deshaun Watson and tell you explore free agency, and they're going to explore free agency and maybe we'll all come back together? Or I guess, how did the process work? Did they let you know what they were doing and tell you there's still an opportunity for you? Or was it you explore, we'll explore, and maybe we'll all come back together at some point?
I think that was the best part of this free agency process with me, is because there were a bunch of tough conversations that I had with, you know, our coaches and with the people on the business side of everything. And I know if their pursuit of Deshaun didn't happen, I would not have been able to have that growth and those conversations with those people in important roles. So I'm thankful. I'm actually thankful that everything turned out how it did, because we did have to have tough conversations. We did have to have conversations that, you know, probably that I didn't want to have, or that they didn't want to have, but it ended up leading to this now. I'm here now, and that's what we have to focus on. And how can we lead this team to where we want to be and where we're capable of being?
Mike Triplett.
Jameis, can you elaborate just a little bit? I know you want to keep some of that private, but what did you mean by that? Like about ways they want to see you grow or fit the offense better, or what do you mean exactly? What were those tough conversations about?
Well, tough conversations opposed to how does this team, how does the organization view me? We know how they view other players. We know how they view some of the players that's been a part of the system for a long time. I think it was great to get an understanding of where I stood in this organization, and how the business side and the coaching side viewed me as a player, and where did they believe that I could take this team.
And what was the net result? Because obviously a few days later they signed you to this deal, so they must view you favorably, I guess. What did you take away from that?
Yeah, I think I got. I think we had a compromise. I think we were good, but now it's just the action. Like, right, all the tough stuff is done. It's just going out there. It's me getting healthy, and it's us going out there and winning games and making everybody happy, because that's what it's about. You know, that's how they keep their jobs on the business side. That's how DA keeps getting head. That's how DA stays the head coach, and that's how I stayed as quarterback.
And the question, the question I was originally going to ask, you said you can only control what you can control. So how were you doing that from a patient standpoint? Did you turn down actual contract offers or chances to visit other teams in the time because you wanted it to work out with the Saints if it could as your top choice? Or
yeah, man, like my focus was on my knee. Now, when it was in regard to me and conversations with other teams or in the Saints, I was able to talk about me and how they viewed me. And that's the thing that I learned throughout this whole process is, and I was curious to see, you know, if you want me to lead this team, what do you think about me? What do you believe that I can accomplish with this team? And are you willing to grow with me and allow this team to get built around me as the quarterback? Because we know that the two of the most important pieces to this whole chess football team is the head coach and the quarterback. So I wanted that commitment, and I wanted to know that that teams could value me, you know, at least a quarter of what I value myself as.
Sean Fazand.
Hey, Jameis, along those same lines, when the injury happened last year, would you say you were close to getting to where you wanted to be within this offense? I mean, it looked like you were starting to gain some momentum within the offense, so to speak.
Absolutely, man. Like, I hate that it happened when it happened, against who it happened against. But it happened, and we learn and grow from every circumstance, every lesson in our life. We have to learn and grow from it. But man, we were about to get on a roll, and that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to have a full offseason, knowing that I'm going to be the quarterback of this team. I'm happy that I don't have to go into training camp with a question whether or not I'm going to be leading this team or not. Like, I think that's what a lot of people forget when we talk about continuity, we talk about development. Like, I was not named this team's starting quarterback until a week before we played the Green Bay Packers. And during that same week, we're migrating to Dallas and coordinating different things and having to move our entire family. So me as an overall leader to have an impact on this team the way that I want to have an impact on this team was kind of short stroke, man. It was shortly lived. So I'm excited to get that opportunity to have the full reins, to have everything that I need, and hopefully everyone in the building agrees with that too.
Terrell?
Hey, I wanted to follow up on something you said about Teron earlier. I'm writing a feature on him, and I was just wondering kind of what was your favorite thing about playing with him and how tough he was, just considering the crazy year and a half he's had in his life.
Well, I just personally believe he's definitely one of the best left tackles that I've ever played with. Just him personally, who he was as a person, him being the captain of this team, how he carried himself, and how, like you said, how he was battling week to week. Obviously we didn't want that, but it just showed his toughness and what he stood for. But I just respect him as a man and as a player. And anytime that you have that type of relationship with one of your teammates and they happen to be one of your offensive linemen, you want that to continue, because it feels good when you at the quarterback position and you know your left tackle is going out there to fight for you. Hey, my job is to protect you, and I view you as that. Like, if you get touched, like, that's on me, right? Like, let's like, we have conversations every now and then, just showing me how much he valued me and how much I value him. But I'm happy for him. He deserved everything that he got, and I know he's gonna have success where in Miami.
And this might seem kind of out there, but I had talked to him and he had said, not making any excuses for the injuries, but he thought maybe that move to Dallas threw people enough off their routines that it could have led to more people getting injured this year. Like, do you think there's anything to that, just with so many of your teammates getting injured in kind of crazy ways?
Oh, most definitely. Like, I think people like, and I take it back to Sean Payton. People don't value Sean enough that we were able to have a winning record with that many injuries, with that many different quarterbacks. Like, that was a true coaching miracle that he did. Like, I understand why, he was exhausted, and that's the type of head coach he is. And that's and the team, the fight around the guys, the way our team stood up, amidst so many different blows week to week, shows how resilient this organization and this culture is. And that culture is contagious, and you want that. I can't pinpoint like, hey, if we wouldn't have went to Dallas, this wouldn't have happened, because it happened, right? We can't live with ifs and buts, but what we can do is value how successful we were, even with those circumstances, and look ahead toward what we can accomplish if we do, stay healthy. If we do start clicking at the right time, when we do all these things, because that's what we're preparing for.
Jeff Duncan.
Yeah, Jameis, you mentioned DA a couple of times. I don't think the public knows sometimes that when a guy's a defensive coordinator, he probably doesn't know as many guys on the offensive side of the ball, because you guys are kind of living in separate universes. How well do you know him? How important is it for you all? You mentioned about being joined at the hip a little bit. How important is it for you to get to know him, and what's the process involved in doing that?
Well, I know him well enough, just because I've competed against him for the past, really my whole career. I've competed against him, because even in practice I competed against him. So I know him well enough. I'm looking forward to getting to know more of him, and I'm sure he's looking forward to expressing that to others on his terms. Just like with me, I have to earn everything I get. DA has to earn everything that he gets, and his pedigree has shown that he was due this opportunity, and I believe he's ready for it. I have the utmost faith in him. I don't see why anyone wouldn't, but But that's all I have. Like my job is to go and be the quarterback. I don't have the day-to-day of a head coach or know what it takes to be a head coach in this league. And I'm pretty sure DA can say that, you know, he knows what it takes to be a quarterback in this league, but personally he has never experienced that. And until the day I become a head coach, I won't be able to tell you how to experience what the experience like to be a head coach.
And one more thing, you mentioned Sean. We haven't talked to you since he moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you at when you found out the news? Did you know it was coming? How surprised were you?
Well, no, I was surprised because, like I said, I came to New Orleans for Sean Payton, you know, to work with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. And I lost one after 1 year, and I lost the other after the next year. So it just shows you life goes on, right? You have to cherish those moments that you have with those significant pieces that you're blessed to be around. Like, again, I cherish Teron wholeheartedly because he was a great left tackle. He was a great person. I cherish Sean. I'm so thankful for the lessons that I did learn through that you know, brief time that I had with him. You know, and like I said, like I had a brief time with him, and I just had 7 weeks to be a starting quarterback. Really, I had 8 weeks to be his starting quarterback. I had 8 weeks to really, you know, talk with him and get stuff coordinated with him about, you know, what we're doing conceptually and get to know him a little bit. You know, so I think definitely knowing that I'm going to be the starting quarterback. Hopefully me and DA have already started to develop that process of the head coach to quarterback relationship. And we're going to see where it go from here.
Amy Just.
Yeah, rewinding a little bit. You've been speaking so passionately about what the team, not necessarily just you, but what the team went through last year. How hard was it for you to be away from them while they were going through all of the stuff that they went through last year?
It was very challenging. You know, it was very tough for me to be away from football, Amy. You know, that was the first time in my career where I just, you know, I was not a part of anything, you know, and you have that sense of being involved with people that you train with, you blood, sweat, and tears, you know, you hear that all the time. And I was focusing on my knee, you know, I was focusing on my family. I had to invest so much into my wife and my kids and my health that it kind of clouded my vision about how much I miss football, but it really didn't. Like, it's nothing you really can imagine that, like, because I enjoy playing football, Amy. Like, you know, I was having this conversation with a couple of friends the other day, and I was just like, you know, I love the game of football. But while I can play and play at a high level, I love playing football. Like, that's what I really love. Like, yes, I love the game of football. I love every aspect to it, but I can play it. I like playing. And that's what I miss the most. Getting out there, going to practice, you know, not necessarily all the meetings, like all day, you know, but playing football is something that I've been doing since I've been 4 years old. And this was the first time where, you know, it wasn't like I was sitting behind Drew, or it wasn't like I was getting redshirted at Florida State. It was like, I was done. I was just out of it. I was done. It was nothing I could do. You know, we talk about controlling what you can control. Like, it was nothing I can control, right? Besides getting healthy. So I dove into getting healthy. I dove into, you know, that was the first time, you know, in a long time where during a football season, I was around my wife and kids a lot. You know what I'm saying? More than usual. I'm not at the facility. You know, I'm not watching extra film. I'm with my family, I'm with my kids, and I'm with myself. And it was uncomfortable at first, you know, sitting with myself because I'm so into football, especially during that part of the season. It was tough, but I'm here now, so that's over with.
Time for a few more. We'll go to Jeff Newlock and Mike Triplett and close it out with Doug Mouton.
So you mentioned, you know, Mike Thomas earlier. You're going to have him back ideally. I think last year, I want to say we talked at one point, and you talked about how excited you were to, you know, complete a pass to Mike in a game because it hasn't happened yet. Both of you guys are coming off injuries. Have you guys gotten a chance to kind of talk at all and get ready? And just how much of an impact is that to just get him back on the field after a full season, without him out there?
Yeah, we talked briefly, and the conversation was congruent. It's about actions, right? Like, we can sit here and dream about the matchup, but we got to go out there and we have to make some work, and we have to do it. We have to make the splash. We have to make the simple plays. We have to make the big plays. We have to do everything that is made out to be, but not just talk it. We got to go and be about it, because I'm definitely looking forward for that opportunity. Again, it translates back to Sean. Like, we thought that we were gonna have Mike Thomas, and we didn't. So again, like, how did things change from that? We'll never know, because it didn't happen. So hopefully it happens this year. I know he's ready and locked and loaded, and I'm ready and locked and loaded. So I'm ready to really make some shake there, and I can't continue to talk that up, and I'm just ready for it to happen.
Like Triplett?
James, what are you anxious to work on, develop, continue to progress in after that small sample size of seeing how you fit in this offense?
Yeah, I'm really excited to focus on my intermediate accuracy. Getting those easy completions to Alvin Kamara. We saw that in the Seattle game, how effective that was. Really perfecting the passes from literally behind the line of scrimmage to 10 yards down the field. Just being more accurate in those areas. I know I can make the big plays, but just staying in the rhythm of completing the football and keeping the offense going throughout the course of a game is something that I've been able to focus on, which has been so great, because right now I'm limited to throwing the ball 50 plus yards down the field, right? So I have to focus on those specifics in those areas on the field when I'm training now.
Is a big part of that choosing to make those throws, or choosing to look for those throws, or recognizing them, or is it just that you can't get the idea of open
Don't say
big plays
can't.
on the field?
Don't say can't, because statistically I did not put up near the numbers that I'm used to putting up. So don't say can't. And I did it effectively this year. I just want to get better at it this year. This was actually the first offense that I was in that, we played the Canadian concept of football, where we're efficient on first and second down. And I'm grateful that I got a chance to see Drew Brees do that for a year while he was here. And I can do, Mike, listen, I can do everything on the field. I can do everything your favorite quarterback can do. Hopefully I'm your favorite quarterback, but I can. Like, that's just what my talent speaks for that. But I'm excited to focus and work on that even more, with this being the second year that I'm actually able to work this offense. Because if you watch film of my other teams, like, we're throwing the ball down the field, 7-step drops from under the center. We don't do a lot of that here. So I'm excited to, again, get to continuity to work that part of my game and actually have an entire offseason where I'm getting the reps with my starting guys, right? Where I'm in training camp, where I don't have to be taking reps with guys that, I'm probably not going to even see the second week of the year, or even that next week. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to continue to grow as a quarterback, to grow as a leader, and to grow in this offense and get things rolling.
Thank you.
And last one from Doug Mouton.
Yeah, hey, Jameis, you mentioned this offense. How different, have you had conversations with Pete Carmichael yet? How different, what kind of spin do you expect, maybe a little different with Pete than you had last year? How do you expect things to change a little bit?
Well, one thing that's going to change is, again, I think with Mike Thomas, you have a better receiving core with Mike Thomas. I think that changes drastically. And I'm not just talking about the receiver room, because I love our receiver room. I'm talking about how's the defense going to prepare for us. When you have a player of that magnitude, the defense, they have to second guess the things that they're doing. So again, that excitement there, but also just me, again, man, having a full off season with Pete. I never had a full offseason with Sean Payton over things that I do well, right? Or things that I could bring to this offense, because I wasn't named the starting quarterback, going into the last offseason. I just didn't have that opportunity, and now I have that opportunity, and I'm going to do my best. I'm going to make the most of it.
All right, we're all set. Thanks so much for the time, Jameis.
All right, thank y'all. Hey, I'm so happy to see y'all again. Happy we can do this thing again. All right, I can't wait to see y'all in person.
Thanks,
Thank
Jameis.
you. Appreciate it.
All right, yeah.
James.
Appreciate it,
Have a good
Jim.
one. All right.
Take care.